Hey friends, welcome to my crib. This is where all the magic happens. Just kidding, this is a podcast, so I'm gonna have to cut that out. Anyways, today we are talking all about if you have been dating around and you have yet to find someone you like. We're gonna talk about what's going on here. We're gonna talk about what to do about it. Real and honest conversation. If you are new here, I'm so happy that you're here. If you are here live, say hi. If you're listening to the podcast, say hello in the review section. I don't really know how that works, or just come hang out on Instagram. But this conversation is something I've been having in my back channels around dating and the frustrations and the exhaustion. And I've felt this where it's like, honestly, I like the dating process. It's kind of a vibe, but I've heard a lot of frustrations from my clients and in my back channels. I've been dating so many people. I've been trying. I've been showing up to this. I've been going all in on this. And yet, I'm not having any success. And so what's going on here? The truth is, there's a difference between having high standards and self-sabotaging. And that's going to sting a bit, but we're going to walk you through it. I'm going to talk about what's going on here. I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to take a lens I maybe haven't heard before so that you can actually call in the types of relationships that you want and open yourself up. Because what is underneath this, if this is what's happening to you, if you've been on 500 dates and none of them are it, there's a fear of intimacy. And I know this because I can think of clients, I can think of an ex, that it's like, how in the fuck is this not working yet? And then we start to think, is something wrong with me? I've had this with a client where it's like, I'm so frustrated because I like these men that I see for a little bit. I like them. And then 3 months in, 3 dates in, I'm all of a sudden frustrated and I'm tired and I'm nitpicking and I'm finding things that I don't like about them. And I don't understand because I want love. I hear this a lot, especially with high achievers. And the thing that's underneath that is the fear of intimacy. And so what is the fear of intimacy? It's, once the relationship starts to get real and serious, those fears come up. And everyone's patterns are different with this. It really depends on your upbringing, your childhood, and all the things. And honestly, I just shared a reel about this. I wouldn't say I had this, like I've dated 700 people. I honestly haven't dated that many people. I've had a good quote unquote luck in that, but I was that emotionally unavailable one. And I would do it in sneaky ways, right? But there's a few ways that this can show up. Is like you pull away when closeness happens. That's when that happens a lot, the avoidance style. The other one that I see is, and I did this, I talked about one of my turning point men. I've had 2 turning point men in my life, that when the nice guy shows up, you find them so fucking irritating. It's like you like them at first, it's hot and heavy at first, and then all of a sudden, every nice thing that they're doing for you, you're like, you're so fucking annoying. And you actually start to become the toxic one. And it's heartbreaking because it's just happening and you don't know why. And your brain is telling you, this is a good guy, I should like him. This is a good person, I should like him. But everything he does, he literally blinks. And I'm like, stop fucking doing that. Does that resonate with you? I remember this feeling and I'm like, what the hell is going on? What's actually happening in these moments is that if you get close to me, are you going to hurt me? If I let you in, are you going to hurt me? If I get attached to you, are you going to leave me? And maybe you wouldn't even identify that right now. But let's take it even a step further back. Let's go into your past. I actually just did this inside of Alchemy of Love. I was talking about the father wound. I was talking about healing the masculine wound. And I was talking about understanding the masculine mind. So if you haven't enrolled in Alchemy of Love yet, get your butt in there. But one of the biggest things is when we have this pattern and this fear of intimacy, I can channel it back to a masculine rupture in your life. Either it was a heartbreak, whether it was a father, whether it was a father figure, or a partner. That somewhere in your timeline, in your relational timeline, you got hurt. And so there's no shortage of you going on dates and getting people attracted. Of course, you're successful. This is honestly the most common one that I see with my high achieving clients. Getting dates is quite easy. We have cell phones, we swipe, there's thousands of fucking people. There's no shortage there. But it's when they start to get close and you're like, you're annoying me. Or, what if you find out that I actually have these insecurities and I'm not refined? I felt this with an ex one time because he came into my life and he's like, you're refined. You're so fine. You have all your stuff together. And I felt this piece inside of me feeling like I couldn't crack. Like I couldn't say what I was insecure about. I couldn't say certain things or how I was really on the back end healing a lot of codependency wounds and a lot of insecurities because I felt he couldn't hold it. And I played this game of performance. And it wasn't until things started to get more serious that belief that I am too much and that I'm not good enough and that when people find out about my past, they leave, started to really come forward. And it wasn't until I healed that even if someone were to do that, say leave, reject, say things, it doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with me and my relationship to the past. And this is why you hear me say this in Breaking the Cycle. And if you haven't already, go watch that masterclass. It's free. It's about your relationship to your shadow. A lot of us have this big core wound and I'm the fucking queen of this. I have a past of domestic violence and drug abuse and sexual assault and eating disorders and a lot of things general public humans can't understand. And I hope they don't. That's not a thing that I'm like, I wish I was understood. Like, that's not something I want to be understood by at all. But it did make me feel a little bit dirty. It did make me feel like I wouldn't be understood. And I did go through a lot of relationships where men would say, there are just things men don't want to know about their partners. And that might even in your soul right now be like, see, this is why I don't tell people things. This is why I don't talk about my past. This is why I don't do anything. But the truth is, those aren't your people. Because it wasn't until the moment when I claimed my shadow, when I was like, you know what, this is a fucking part of me, but this is not the full part of me. This is just like a thing. And also, it made me who I am. It built my career. There's a global movement happening. There's you guys because of this. There's this whole fucking thing that's happening. If that didn't happen, I don't think I'd have the movement that I had. And you turned the shadow into this sacred wound so that when you alchemize this within your body, when you meet someone, and this is exactly what happened when I did this work, the next person that came in, when I was telling the story and I was doing these things, it was like they came into my life and I was telling the story about my past in a nonchalant way because we were just having a conversation. He was like, shit, I need to learn to ask better questions. And it was this connection point for the two of us. It wasn't like the first date trauma spilling. I see this a whole bunch of, and they're like, I don't have any intimacy fears. And then you're trauma spilling. That's not what I mean by any of this. There's a slow pace to someone getting access to you. There's a slow pace. That's the thing about the feminine. You are here to pace the masculine. Yes, they want to know everything about you right away, and they want to get in your panties, and they want to call you their wife, and they want to do the things, and then 3 months later, they whatever. That's a whole different, there's a training coming out on this. But it's that whole thing. Your thing is to pace. And so when we have this intimacy fear, it blocks us from vulnerability, which is actually blocking us from the long-term relationship. I can often see this is the key thing that when I hear from clients, 3 months in and they fizzle out. What's going on? Or I can't get past the third date. And they start to tell me what their dates are like, or they start to tell me what's going on, or the conversation. I'm like, that's a fucking lame. Like, that's a job interview. You're not opening yourself up. You're not creating intimacy. You're not letting anyone in. You're just having a standard conversation about the weather and what made you move here and where'd you travel and what's your vision for the future and da 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 da. Like, it's basic. It's so basic. as opposed to this open vulnerability of this letting people in, letting people see you over time, pacing. This is why the fear of intimacy is the biggest one I see with the most successful clients I have. Because we don't like to be vulnerable. Because it scares the living tits off of us. Because what if someone uses it against us? What if someone hurts us? What if someone rejects us? What if someone abandons us? When we have built this persona of being a leader. And yet I know deep inside of you is the same fucking thing myself and my clients craved. You want to be seen for who you really are. You're exhausted having it all together. You are tired of feeling like you are refined and you have to act a certain way. You just want to sometimes be fucking messy. You want to be silly. You want to have your emotions be met and held. And the way that that is done is through your own intimacy with self. It really is going into, what I teach you in Alchemy of Love, what I'm walking you through. Also, if you're not an arrival, you can go. We have this product suite within there, and it's these daily vitamins, and it's subconscious reprogramming. This isn't just mindset stuff. This is stuff that using neuroscience, using psychology, using somatics, like you get to tap into that every single day and reprogram this stuff in your body so you're no longer playing out the narratives of your past. Like my intimacy blocker was because I was raised in a household where I was told I was too much. I had a parental figure tell me sometimes people don't want to know that about you after I was raped. And then I kept dating people hoping they would somehow accept this part of myself. Really trying to replay this version of the needs that I didn't get met in my younger self. And the truth is, in relationship, you cannot get your unmet needs met that you haven't met yourself. A lot of us are waiting for this knight in shining armor to come through and pull us out of this, and somehow we'll meet the right person, and therefore we'll feel intimate and connected, and we'll feel like this is it, and I'll open up, and it'll just be the right person that I'll open up to. How long have you been waiting for that to happen? How many dates have you been going on? Why are you giving someone else the power over your heart and the power over your vulnerability and what you can open up to? Stop fucking waiting. And I know that's a little bit harsh, but sometimes you need it. I'm so my biggest mission on this planet is to change generational trauma, but the biggest thing here is so that we can truly get back to the homeostasis of love and to be in the space of knowing that you are good enough, all of you. Your past, your present, your future, all of you. The fact that you're a fucking savage CEO, the fact that, you have this narrative, you have these things, you do this stuff, your hair is a mess and your makeup looks like this and you don't have eyebrows in the morning and your breath smells. The fact that you are flawed makes you freaking amazing. That is when you know that you are rare and valuable for all that you are, including the background, including the story. You set yourself free from that. That's what narrative therapy is. It's this aspect of, we are meaning-making machines. This is literally what we do. We seek out meaning based on our lived experiences and all the kind of things, and that is what we do. Except when there's not a coherence between this is what I want deep intimacy, I want my soulmate, I want to soften, I want to be seen, I want it. But then there's this narrative in the past that is telling you you're too much, that's telling you you're unlovable, that's telling you you can't have everything you want, that's telling you you have to dim your light in order to belong because it's going to intimidate people. There's these sneaky little narratives that we have that if we don't go into the subconscious and rewire them, they continue. And so when you're saying, and when I've had clients say this, it's, I've been dating around, I've been doing these things, I've been showing up, I go on a date every single week, I'm here, and I don't like anyone. What the hell is going on? That isn't a dating problem, that isn't this town problem, that isn't the apps problem, that isn't men, women, isn't the culture of society. It's you're not getting in the trenches and doing the work that you need to do. And I'm here to guide you into that. I'm here to invite you into that. But it makes me so sad that this is what we're waiting for. It's at the core, it's the fear of intimacy. It's the fear of vulnerability. It's the fear of closeness. We are all running around this world with this right now. It's wild. And you guys have heard me ramble about this because of swipe culture, because of all the things. Instead of actually sitting and getting to know ourselves and knowing in this healing process, especially after breakups or after something happens, a financial scare, a health scare, a thing, we're just swiping to ignore, and then we're hoping we come into a relationship and somehow that's going to drown out the noise. But yet when it starts to get close, we're like, oh fuck. And we self-sabotage it. As opposed to going, oh, this is a growing edge. Here it is. I'm ready to lean in. I'm ready to actually cultivate intimacy instead of hiding and doing the things that I've been trying to hide from my entire life of not feeling worthy. This is a thing that I'm filming later where it's like a lot of the times we're sitting here being like, it's not working. It's a big thing. People that say, I've been on a lot of dates. It's a big fucking thing you guys say is, it's not working. The truth of what is not working is that you silently enrolled that person that you are on a date with into this archetype of the thing that they are supposed to fulfill in your life, whether it's they're supposed to make you feel like a man or make you feel like a woman. They're supposed to protect and provide for you. They're supposed to remind you of your power. They're supposed to do this. They're supposed to make you feel that. They're supposed to be a sex goddess and a sex god. And they're supposed to turn you on and do the things and fill this gap in my life. And as soon as you don't do that anymore, this actually isn't a fit anymore. What isn't a fit? The fact that you came into the relationship not fully full and complete. Yeah, that would make sense. This is why I have programs like Alchemy of Love. This is why I have the sneaky program that's coming out in the back. This is why I have my one-on-one. This is why I have Arrival. So that more and more people become complete. And then they're meeting complete people, and therefore they can grow and bloom from there. And it's not about, this isn't working anymore. Like, this isn't to say that toxicity and things like that, of course, when that stuff happens, it's not fit anymore. But when those phrases, like, that shit drives me absolutely bananas. It's not a good fit anymore. This doesn't fit anymore. Yeah, the mask that relationship was trying to cover for you, usually after the 3-month mark, when it starts to get hot and heavy and real, and you have to face your shadows and insecurities in the depths of what relationships are. Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you've never sat in solitude and alchemized your love and sat with these wounds and sat with your intimacy fears and really worked through this, is creating safety in your body. How free would you feel if that happened? Who would you be? How would you show up? What would the conversation, what would the love be like? Like, oh my God, that's what happens. Men show up in your life. Real relationships, women, people, they show up. And it's not even just intimacy in this dynamic, like sexual intimacy. It's not physical. It's like, I see you on a soul level. That's how all of my friendships are. If you've ever met me in person, this is how I am in person. I don't know how to not do it. It's straight to intimacy. I want to know you. Intimacy, into B-I-C. That's how that works. It's a gift. It's an art. Because the truth is that when you can see yourself, when you can truly see yourself, you can see others without the lens of your triggers or your past getting in the way. That is a gift. That is what this world needs more of. And so this is a long tangent around, if you've been dating around and can't find anyone you like, but this is a big topic that I hear. Because it's so much more than, well, what should my dating profile look like? Or what should I say? Or how do I keep them coming? Or whatever. Like, how do I get him back? What are the 5 texts to get him back? Like, no. No. It is going underneath and looking at, what are your intimacy fears? What are you actually afraid of? Because my biggest thing is that so many brilliant women will remain single if they do not look at this. People are craving the connection. People are craving your feminine essence and the vulnerability and your open heart and the love. This is why I know I've had such success in dating. Why I've had such success in my friendships, in my business. is intimacy. I create intimacy with y'all on this podcast. I create intimacy with everyone I enter into a room with. Yes, there's guards and there's boundaries and there's standards and there's things. It's not just, here's why, like, you guys have been in my energy, you get that. But there's an art form to doing this. When you've truly alchemized, it is your art to no longer fear people getting close to you and quote unquote being found out for who you really are when you've been in this performance mode. You know, especially when we have online businesses, it's like, oh, what if they meet my offline? Like, and they don't like it? Or what if it's not that, you know, all these things. It's like your offline should meet your online. Like, it's literally, it should be the same. To be in a life that you have, like, no secrets, no things, no performance. Like, you're just you, you're authentic, you're free, you're yourself. So the reason you are feeling like, oh my God, I've been on so many fucking dates, and none of them, I don't like any of them. None of them have worked out. That isn't a dating town, whatever. That is your fear of actual intimacy. What are you doing about that? That isn't something that, you know, I hear this thing, well, I've enrolled in all these programs and I've done all these things and I've studied these books and I've learned about attachment, I've learned about surrender, and I've done all the... It is a body thing. The only way to do this is through your body. To actually surrender and soften in your body. You cannot think your way out of this. You cannot study your way out of this. You cannot sticky note your way out of this and make checklists and get to date 6 and that's when you're going to do it. Like, that's not how this works. Think of yourself on a date. Are you open? Are you present? Or are you thinking about what that person's role is going to be in your life and how it's supposed to look and what they're going to do and if you're doing it right and how you look and how you're sitting and if you're eating correct? Like, none of us are, like, that's what makes me so sad is, like, first off, the dates are boring, and second off, you're not even there. Work on being present. Work on being open. Work on being in the moment. That is your gift. Instead of protecting. I call them our inner gremlins. And so if you feel like you've been, you know, going and dating around, you've been on like hundreds of dates and none of it's working, I invite you to really start to explore this fear of intimacy. Take it a step further. Get your butt into Alchemy of Love. It is changing the relational game, especially if this is one of your blocks. Fear of men, fear of intimacy. You're ready for your person this year. You want to learn how to do this. You're sick of the hot and the heavy and the hot and the cold and the on and the off. And you're ready. You're ready to really have that chemistry with someone and have your teammate come into your life. And you know, it's the normal kind of love. That's alchemy. And if you just want to test out our world, right now, Arrival, we have 14-day free. So you can sign up and try it for 14 days. You can cancel anytime. And that is where you'll get the daily vitamins, which is our subconscious reprogramming and our meditations and the things that are backed by science. And then you'll also be able to jump into our free masterclass that is all around reframing attachment styles. I think that's what we're doing. We might do boundaries on the 1st because we have a new training that you get access to every 1st, and then you get a private community. And plus you get access to Femme right away, which is our Femme training, all around somatic immersion to help you tap into your feminine energy for high achievers. And honestly, it's $1,400 worth in value for free for 14 days. So go check that out. What else? I'm opening up my waitlist for one-on-one. There's some things. We got waitlist for one-on-one. We got Alchemy of Love. And we got Arrival. And you can try it out for 14 days. Get your butt in there. In any of those, whichever level. Those are very different levels. You guys know I'm not going to explain what coaching is to you. You guys know you're brilliant cookies. But honestly, what I need you to do, what I really need you to do is if you feel like you have been running the frickin' arena, the ringer, I don't know where my words were going to go with that. If you feel like that is you and you're like, what? Dive into your intimacy fears. Dive into, what am I protecting myself from? Is it my past? Is it Is it a story? Is it something? Am I present when I'm dating? Am I making this feel like work? Am I in a needy energy where I feel like I'm missing something in my life and that this person is somehow going to fix that? Start to pay attention to these things, because dating is easy. It really is. My clients are a testament to that. I'm a testament to that. It really is. It's when we heal our relationship to our past. It's when we heal our body. You start to create safety in the present moment, and you start to draw in high value men. The reason you do this is because when you create safety, you move into your feminine instead of your overperformance masculine. That's for another topic, but I love you so freaking much. Get your butt in the arenas of either Arrival, and you can try that for 14 days. Alchemy of Love, we are currently about halfway through, but you're going to go through. It's 30 days walking you through how to become the Amore Alchemist, our signature way of alchemizing your love to actually step you into your feminine and literally make men drool over you and call in the love of your life and your soulmate and your person. Or my one-on-one Iconic is open on the wait list. So we're not open yet, but our wait list is brewing. So either way, let that be, or you can hang out over with us on Instagram. Mine is It's Laura Patricia Martin. Our company, our brand is Healing to Happy. I'm going to put everything in the show notes. I think I also mentioned Breaking the Cycle, which is our free masterclass. I'm going to put all of this in the show notes. So I love you so freaking much, and I will see you in the next episode. Happy healings, baby.